You know, people are not dumb. You know, what you gaze upon gazes back. What gazes at you, you gaze back. What you gauge, you put a gauge on something, the water pressure, the air pressure, any kind of pressure gauge. So they're gauging you and you're gauging back. It's something that just came to my mind. So you got a woman, she finds a man, she says, I got me a man. She doesn't say, I'm in love. I found a man that I'm in love with. She says, I got my man. I got me a man. But it's not about love. She just got her a man. What does that mean? Somebody to protect her, take care of her, serve at her every need, go out to eat, do this, mow the lawn, clean the gutter, stuff like that. I got a man. I got me a man. You know what so when you gauge that comment, it's not about love. See, our society has flipped everything upside down. Instead of getting to know a person first, get to know their character and their personality and talk back and forth in truthfully. They say, I got me a man. A man don't think like that. He wants to find a woman he loves and who loves him. But if a woman says, I got me a man, that means she can just pick any man. It's not about love. It's more like a prostitution thing. I got me a man. Do you love him? Does he love you? Are y'all in love? Instead of saying, I got me a man, I found the person that I'm in love with, you know. And so society has okayed that, justified that, supported that. The queen bees lift that up and say, yeah, queen bee, worship me. You got you a man. He's gonna serve you. No, you got it all upside down. You got it upside down, inside out. You have actually gone into the Delulu land, delusion. And so our society has done that. And, you know, the women would say the men just want, they just want a trophy wife or something like that. Who cares about that? I don't even think men really care about that. Because a man just wants peace in his home, you know. He wants peace and he wants communication. But if you can't have communication with a woman, what do you got? Life's about communication. I promise you, life is about communication. If the communication dies, it's over. I don't care what it is. Business, marriage, church, truth, society. If there's no communication, it dies. Whatever it is, it dies. And you might say, how do you know that? Because the code reveals it. The etymology reveals it. Communication is communion. Communion, what does that go back to? In order to have a fulfillment life, there's a mediator between God and man, the Lord Jesus Christ. And so that communion there, the middleman, the communion with God is through Jesus. The God-man. So communion, when you take communion, he says, make sure your heart's right, lest you be judged, you know. And so when I do rideshare, or when I was doing rideshare, you get people in the car and they wouldn't say a word. You get some people in the car, they talk your ears off. But the best rides were when both people are respecting the other, asking questions. You might not agree with what they say or worldview or whatever, but there's communication. Back and forth communication. And so without healthy, reciprocal, respectful communication, everything dies. If it turns into abuse, what good is it? What is it? There's nothing. There's nothing. I promise you this world is based on communication. Let's say two countries are getting ready to fight. If there's no communication, they're probably going to have a war, you know. But if they communicate and they come into an agreement, they can solve the problem and not have a war. If you study the etymology for about a year, just unfold words and take notes and see where the words lead. You'll find out that if you unfold enough words, they all lead back to 4 root words: cut, turn, union, and flow. And so the union is what I'm talking about. There's a Publix truck right there. I keep seeing Publix truck everywhere. Union. Oneness, union, together, on the same page. Communion, communication. Common, same word as common. Common ground. Same goals, same mind, same heart, same spirit, same everything. And if you don't have the communion with somebody, why are you going to marry them? Why are you going to be in the same car with them? Why are you going to spend time with them? So that's why I spend a lot of time alone, because I can't hardly find anybody that even hears what I'm saying. I have some people online that I can communicate with back and forth, that have risen to the next higher levels of understanding. But most people that you talk to down here, they don't even they just going around the circuit. They got to eat, they got to sleep, they got to pay their bills, they got to make some babies, they got to drink, they got to party, and there's no real communication with these people. These people are actually like low vibration like you've never seen. And the ones that I communicate with, they've all been through that trouble, which pushed them higher. So what happened was, they got caught up with somebody a lot of times that messed them up mentally, emotionally, spiritually, whatever. Sometimes physically, sometimes beat them. And so they said there's something else. So they started digging deeper, and God started revealing things to them, you know. And so as you commune with God and His Word, you start to rise up above this 3D experience, and you see it's all ridiculous. It's insanity. It's insane. It's insane. If there's no communication with a friend, brother, sister, mom, dad, uncle, aunt, cousin, and you're not communicating, eventually there's going to be a split, and you're really going to think, you're going to wake up one day and you're going to say, that person doesn't love me. I don't care if it's family, or it could be a mom, a child. They don't love me because there's no communication. If you care about somebody, you want to communicate with them, you know, friendship, love, family love, whatever kind of love it is, you want to have some communication. And if there's no communication, it's probably because you don't love the person. They don't love you. They don't love you, or you don't love them. Because that's what life's about, communication. You can be in the same room with somebody and not communicate because you're on 2 different wavelengths, 2 different frequencies. What good is that? You know? What kind of life is that? Not the kind of life I want. I'd rather be alone till the day I die than be stuck in some situation where there's no communication and it's always fighting, arguing, and all that stuff. It's not a two-way thing. When you've communicated with people online for 30 years and you've met people who know how to communicate, know how to listen, know how to respond, understand what you're saying spiritually, when you've experienced that for 30 years with different people, how could you go back, live in a house with somebody who's not spiritual? How could you leave the 5D, go back to 3D and be happy? You can't do it. All the 3D creatures are thinking about is go here, do this, do this, do this. There's no meditation. There's no contemplation. There's no peace within. The only time they have peace is if they're running here, going here, doing this, doing that. There's no peace otherwise. There's no peace, saith the Lord, to the wicked. And usually it's the unsaved that have no peace. They're running here, because they have no peace. Now, I went here one time, and I had a hairnet in my food. I went here another time. These two ladies came in there to try to fight with the manager because she got fired. And then now, let's see. And then one time I came over here, and this man and woman pulled up and looked at me funny, walked in, walked out, and they said, she said, I don't want to eat here, and blah, blah, blah. And they were arguing and fighting. He said, let's just eat here. It was like a Sunday morning. I think it's good food at a good price, so I'd like to come over here and it's quiet usually. And look, there was nobody here. But my point is, I saw a pattern with this place about causing trouble here. We just tested it today. Strong ammonia smell. Y'all open? The sad part about these restaurants is they play whatever music they want to play. They change the radio station depending on who the manager is. At least with a chain, they don't do that. Communion. Check this out. Cut, turn, union, flow. So see how this cross cut. Boom. There's no coincidences in life.